Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. I'm done with producing for today. My album, step by step, is getting closer to being like 20% finished. There's still a lot of stuff I have to take care of. As you might remember, yesterday I promised today to do a full DJ video. Again, I try to do one every 1 or 2 weeks. And today it's a very simple one. It's actually what DJs do on stage, if you've ever wondered. So this right here is one example of a DJ setup. Usually nowadays, all of the really big stages like Tomorrowland, Perucaville, all of these kind of festivals where DJs are playing usually have a mixer and 2 CD players, but most of the time nowadays, they're not really CD players anymore. They're media players. They're just playing music off USB sticks. So when a DJ is usually booked and he has a gig, he goes to the gig with a USB stick, all of his music on there, sometimes 2 USB sticks, depending if the media players are linked. If they're linked, you just need one, plug it in, and you got your music on both of them right here with a touch screen. You just select the songs and you're able to play them. You got 2 sources. Here in the setup, we got actually 4, the 2 record players. You don't see them a lot anymore. It's just too expensive, the vinyl, and then it doesn't sound as good, and the needle is jumping, and you have to carry all of the records, which is like the main reason why you don't see any world touring DJ traveling with vinyl anymore. That stuff is just heavy. And then actually the main task of a DJ is selecting the right songs. So the DJ decides what is being played next. He loads it onto one of the players and uses the mixer to mix both of them together. So basically, in a nutshell, you select here your songs that you want to play. You just hit, it loads it into the deck, and then you can hit Q to let it play, but immediately go back to the start, or just hit play. You can slow down the track, speed it up. You then see here the BPM, the tempo of the song. You can do fancy stuff like looping certain sections and repeating them forever. 4 channels corresponding to 1, 2, 3, 4, and a crossfader to mix in between those 2, or maybe those 2, depending on how you set it up. EQing, pretty simple. Cutting the lows, boosting the mids, same thing. And then a ton of fun effects, echo, delay. Yeah, I gotta say DJing is a lot of fun. Like if you're into tech and into music, like DJing is just perfect. It's also very important to beat match. This means like getting the speed of both tracks to the same tempo and making sure like the kicks, the beat, the bars and everything aligns so that it sounds like actually one track when you transition from one to another. I've taught it a couple of times to people. It usually takes like 2 to 10 hours depending on how musically trained that person actually is. For someone that is playing an instrument, beat matching is a matter of maybe 2 hours. You of course need your headphones to listen to the song that isn't playing to the crowd, to select the right point in the track, to select the right track, to make sure it is fitting to the other song. The next task would be to do EQing, like killing the mids, increasing them, cutting the lows, to make those songs match even better. There are a ton of effects on most modern mixers. You can play around with it. Don't overdo it. It gets annoying really fast. But that's also a task of the modern DJ, taking the songs, mixing them, but also getting them to the next level, reacting to the crowd by using effects. Also really important whenever you DJ somewhere, especially if it's a huge festival, you might just get like half an hour as a slot, and before and after your other DJs that are waiting to present their music to the crowd. So there's usually no way that you arrive late. You have to be there in time, and you also have to stop playing in time. It's really rude if the next one just has half an hour, and you kill just 3 minutes of him. So this is very strict, and among DJs, very unpolite to play longer. Sometimes you can ask the next one if it's okay, or maybe he will ask you to play longer because he's not ready, but usually try to end your set on time 100%. So these are basically all of the technical parts: selecting the right songs, beat matching them, EQing, and using effects if necessary. If you're interested in the technical part, I will link up a video there, which is like more tutorial how actually to DJ. Today, really just focusing on what DJs do on stage. And yes, the technical parts, sure, that's one task, but especially nowadays, the microphone is a huge part, like animating the crowd, making sure they jump on the drop, like you count 1, 2. It's a little ridiculous. I'm not a huge fan of it. I mean, yes, it's nice to say hi to the crowd, ask them how they were doing, and maybe animate them here and there, but like counting from 1 to 3 every single drop is a little stupid. Then there is also like the jumping, moving kind of part. Every DJ does that naturally. Some don't even have it under control and it looks a little stupid. Some do it in a cool way. Underground DJs move usually less. And that's already where we get into the full entertainment sector. Like Steve Aoki is like the best example. He's jumping left and right. He's jumping into the crowd. He's surfing on the crowd. He's caking the crowd. So these are also things DJs actually do on stage. There's definitely something new. It's part of the entertainment factor. Also here, another big fan. But these are the things you might have to do to stand out. There are so many DJs nowadays because it's actually that easy. With the modern media players and mixers, they do a lot of stuff for you and you can see everything and it's like very, very easy. I think every person can be a DJ within 20 hours of learning it. Totally different story with vinyl. I would say at least 100 hours to get that right. And then there are, of course, the things that don't actually have anything to do with the performance. A lot of DJs check their phone. You can even plug your phone into the mixer and charge it, especially in smaller clubs, on the smaller stages where not everyone is looking at you. People hang out on the phone a lot. It shouldn't be a thing. And there's also, of course, a lot of stuff on stage happening that doesn't actually have anything to do with like the technical DJing and entertainment part. And that is usually the stuff not a lot of people talk about. There's a lot of, drinking, of course, drugs, of course, and the other stuff I will just leave out. I mean, you can imagine backstage is pretty wild. On stage, especially the bigger stage is less because there are so many cameras, so many people actually watching. So if you want to have like the full experience, smaller clubs are usually where the weird stuff is happening. The big stages are more entertainment factories. Also, around the DJ booth, you usually have like huge speakers, monitor speakers that make sure that you can actually hear what you play without the delay from like the speakers that are standing towards the crowd. And whenever you enter the stage, especially if it's a bigger stage with fireworks and all this kind of stuff, there will be someone guiding you on stage to show you where not to go to, where not to step, where not to be, for example, in front of the DJ booth to a certain time when there might be something going off. Very, very, very important. This can go horribly wrong. So these are basically the things DJs do on stage. The technical stuff, explained more in the video that I will link down below. And then the fun stuff that goes on. But it's basically not a lot. If you compare it to a band, if you compare it to any other live act, to a singer, there's a lot more stuff going into it. Like as a DJ, it's a pretty easy, fun job. The hard part is actually getting the gigs, but that's something for another video. So thanks a lot for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. If I forgot anything that DJs do on stage, let me know. I think I covered everything except for the parts that you have to imagine. And yeah, tomorrow another episode, probably here in the studio. I definitely have to finish that album.